Hi, I'm Tim Whitmire with First Integrity Mortgage, and joining me today is Jenn Lawler with Circa Properties.
Hello, happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And I'm so glad Jenn is joining us because she's the realtor in my BNI chapter, which is Business Networking International. That's how we met.
Mhm.
And we've been working together for a few years now. And I love working with her. She's great at communicating. She's awesome with the buyers. I always get the highest compliments from the buyers when they're talking about her. So
Likewise. Yeah.
super happy that you're here today.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely. So let me ask you this. A question I like to ask is what got you into real estate?
Sure. So, a few years after I moved to St. Louis, I took a job as a leasing agent at a high rise apartment building downtown, and I loved it. I loved every bit of it, and kind of, you know, went from being a leasing agent to a leasing manager and on up. And all of it, though, was contained within four walls. There were about 295 units there, just kind of showing the same about 10 layouts all the time. And I loved it, but after several years there, it got to be a little bit stale. So I put my application or my resume out on LinkedIn, and then I was contacted by a property management company out of Cape Girardeau to do some single family home management. So still property management, still kind of acting as a landlord on behalf of other owners, but it was so different, and I learned so much. And that's what got me the knowledge about the various St. Louis metros that we have here. St. Louis
Hmm.
is so unique with all its different municipalities and such, and all the different rules that each one has. So that taught me a ton about that. And then, so stayed with the company out of Cape Girardeau for quite some time. And then I moved on to a local company, which is where I was when I met you. And then I was doing both, in tandem with each other. It was a property manager for several owners with properties spread out all over St. Louis, and then also a realtor. So I could offer my services to them, helping them buy, sell, or reconstruct their portfolios in whatever way they wanted. Sometimes a new client would come to me with this ambition to, I have 10 properties. I'd like to sell off half of them and buy duplexes so that I have more doors. Or, I have two properties. I'd like to have 10 by the end of 2 years. Whatever their wish was, I could help them and work with them to achieve that, while also helping them manage their tenants and their vacancies, and balancing their ledgers and things like that. So I learned a ton from that experience in general, but what I truly loved throughout it all was the realtor portion of that.
Sure.
The managing the tenants and the rent rolls and things like that was kind of busy work on top of the actual helping families buy and sell homes, because alongside the investors, I also had clients who were looking to buy their forever homes or buy their next home or buy their first home. And so that was a really rewarding portion to my job that I wanted to focus more on. So in January of 2021, I officially broke away from the property management, the direct property management, and focused solely on being a realtor. And that is when I joined my current brokerage, which I love, Circa Properties, and they are phenomenal. They offered it such a nice segue for me, because I had all of these property management clients who I, of course, didn't want to leave high and dry. I had formed such strong relationships with them. And Circa has a sister company, West End Management, so I was able to help onboard some of them. I'm leaving, but I'm not leaving you kind of thing. And that worked out just beautifully. So it's been a great transition for the last, going on 2 years now. So
Time flies.
it does. I know. I can't believe it. Yeah.
And I mean, what a unique way to get into the business, but
Yeah.
really, I think a great way because you gathered all that experience, and it gave you an opportunity to really build what you're truly passionate about, your real estate side of the business,
Yes.
while still having like a source of income and a job while you're doing that transition. And I think
Yes.
because it's hard, it's very, very hard to get started in
Well,
our industry.
and a lot of realtors, and there's nothing wrong with this, but their business is based solely on helping families or, first-time buyers, regular traditional buyers buy and sell homes.
Sure.
And there's nothing wrong with that. That's certainly very important. But the niche of the investors that I've worked with gives me a bit of an edge, because that's something that you don't just start doing that one day. I mean, you have to have some connections. You have to, and if you do, it might just be one investor that you work with or something like that. But I've had a plethora of different kinds of investors with different goals in mind, because there are so many different types of investors. As you know, there's, flippers, and there's folks who have a ton of rental properties, folks who just have a few really nice rental properties, Airbnb, you name it. So I am very, very grateful for the way that my story went, so that I was able to learn that on the front end, and then, kind of carry that knowledge on through to today.
Yeah. And that's huge. And that's unique. And it makes you a better, more well-rounded agent because of that. So
Yeah, thank you.
yeah, it's definitely, interesting way to get into the business. And I feel like it's served you well going that direction.
Yeah, it has. Yes, it makes it so that I can be comfortable talking about in the investment world. Because it's something that it's so funny too, because you can be at a dinner party or somewhere that you're not expecting to have to talk about real estate at all. As you know,
Right.
people are always wanting to pick your brain. Everybody has a little bit of an interest in real estate, whether it be the value of the home they own, or whether it be that they have kind of a little itch in the back of their brain that tells them they want to invest, but they're scared or they don't know enough about it. So when someone has that and a conversation is opened up about it, I'm able to comfortably, without any sort of hesitation, talk about it, and excitedly too. So yeah. I am grateful for that, for sure.
No, that's huge. That's huge. So, and you mentioned Circa Properties,
Yes.
the brokers that you're with.
Yes.
And they have such a great reputation in the area. And what drew you to Circa?
Well, the culture. Circa has a great culture. And then also, like I said, the sister company at West End Management, that just worked so beautifully. Certainly not all, but a few of my investment clients were panicked by the idea of me not only leaving property management, but leaving their properties specifically. Some of them had been through other property managers previous to me and had not had great experiences and that kind of thing. And so they just didn't want to have to go down that road again. Mm-hmm. So I felt so much better being able to tell them that I had a recommendation for them, that West End has an exceptional reputation. So I could, introduce them, and they get their own property manager assigned to them within West End. So that worked out beautifully. And then the broker, Seth Reeder, is someone that my husband has a connection with from the past. And so we hit it off, and just all things considered, it was definitely the best decision for me. And now that I'm there, as you know, from various conversations we've had, it is amazing to me going from being an agent who was kind of on my own, any marketing I would do or any open house preparations. I mean, you name it, anything that I was doing along the way, I was doing myself. I was stapling, printing, creating, which I'm not real great at, all the things. And now it's amazing to me that I have the team at Circa to back me and to make me look good and to save me so much time with all of the great marketing products that we have. So that's been a breath of fresh air for these last almost 2 years, for sure.
No, that's so awesome. Like you do a great job, but there's only so much you can do on your own.
Right.
And to have a full team
yes.
and marketing experts to help you is huge.
For everything. Yes. And one unique thing that Circa has that other brokerages do not is we call it a pre-list consultation. We have a gentleman on board that his name's David Nelson, and he will go and meet with your clients, your selling clients, and help them kind of know how to best market their home. For some people, that's, don't do anything but dust. And then for some people, you might want to move some furniture around to kind of maximize the space, or a little bit of like landscape cleanup, whatever the case may be. He will deliver that message to them rather than me having to deliver that message to them. A, because I don't have the eye he has, and B, because I don't necessarily want to be the one coming in and saying, would love to list your home, and then here's the list of things that I'm gonna need you to do first. That's not the best method. So that's something that's an awesome thing I have at my disposal. And then also the actual marketing that we do when you have a listing, you get so much when you go with Circa. I mean, so much more. And I've learned that over the last almost 2 years as well, that we truly do offer so much more than a lot of the brokerages out there. So it's
no, that's so nice to have.
Yes.
And talking about the buying side of things, which I mean, you're fantastic both on the buying and the selling side, but with the buying side, that's where we we're
Sure.
together so much.
Absolutely. Right.
And I can vouch for you because the communication is there. And I work with realtors every single day, and I can see the difference between that true full-time professional agent that really cares, that's going to communicate and follow up and continuously have that open flow of communication. And so we know where we're at all times as far as where we're at in the process, versus agents that maybe aren't always full time, which is crazy to me. Or
Yeah.
there's agents where they get you under contract and then I don't hear from them until closing. Which I know there's sometimes you don't hear from the lender until closing.
It
So
creates panic.
yeah,
Complete panic. I know. Yes. I mean, obviously, and I know you know this too, anytime you have a buyer, whether it be a first time buyer or someone who's buying their 100th home they've bought in their lives, it does not matter. It is a huge deal to them. It's a huge purchase. It's a huge deal, and it should not be taken lightly. So that's why you and I work well together, because we both understand that to the same level, for sure. But I just enjoy every single aspect of it, whether it be the showings, the negotiating, and making sure they get the best deal, that's possible. Well, even if that comes down to just getting the refrigerator or not getting the refrigerator with their purchase, just whatever's important to them, to just kind of fight and be in their ring, because that's my job.
Yep.
So yes, I love representing buyers. First time home buyers hold a little special place in my heart, because it is such a big deal, and it's such a big deal, and I'm always so proud of them. Everybody's story is so different. They could be a 21-year-old buying their first home, or it could be a 40-year-old buying their own home, or we have one client who's even older than that, and they're buying their first home. That is a huge deal.
That's so cool.
And it's something to be really, really proud of. So I've said before, I help people achieve the American dream, and I really believe that. And for some, that's investing and having a portfolio of rentals. That's their dream. Or it's just owning a home that they can house their family in. That's their dream. So whatever it is, I get very excited to help them get there. Yeah.
Awesome. And so this is great. So let me ask you this. Someone's listening or watching this video, and they're thinking about buying their first home or an investment property or their dream home. How can they reach you?
Oh, many different ways. Anyway, you can reach me by cell, texting, always easy, email. You could even call the office and request me. That would probably be the long route. But yes, reach me any of those ways, and just a quick want to chat with you is all it takes to get started. And then I will, we'll schedule a time to talk it through, what exactly you're looking for. If they do not have financing in place, of course, I'll refer them back to Tim Whitmire with First Integrity Mortgage, and then we'll go from there. And then what I call the fun part can begin, of actually going out to look for homes and just hanging out inside of other people's homes and seeing if it's a right fit for you. That's a really fun part. And I've also had several clients throughout the years, including the one I spoke with this morning at BNI, that do not live here, that are out of state, that are either moving here for work or just are not local or investors particularly. And in those cases, I will do FaceTime tours for them, or if they're not available, they're at work or what have you, then I can do a video walkthrough tour, and then they can watch that and say, oh, I loved it. Could you go back and do a little bit more of a close-up shot on XYZ? And then I can do that. So whatever it takes is what I do.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's going above and beyond. Just doing, like you said, whatever it takes to make it work for you. So very good. I appreciate you coming in today.
Yeah.
And and if you would like a warm introduction to Jenn, feel free to reach out to me, and I'd be more than happy to make that warm introduction. I'm Tim Whitmire, First Integrity Mortgage, 314-402-8184. Thank you.